What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. There are some crazy buyouts and even crazier conversations to be had about the market right now, such as how are the stim checks going to affect the market. Also, just turning around for a little bit, and oh my gosh, Dragoon goes from the low 30s and almost zero competitive play to seeing some of that top competitive play, and all of a sudden, mid 40s. We see it at $45 here, so the meta ramping up. Oh, the meta's not going to move in the winter, it's just going to fall out. No one's playing. Have you missed the remote duels, the extravaganzas, the attack of the giant cards? The real thousands of dollars of prizes people are paying for? Like, it is actually crazy how I see these conversations and people are like, no one's playing. No, you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Plenty of people are. So we see Dragoon go brrr. 2010's getting a little bit of redemption for having no promos, the Blue Eyes and Dark Magician support that didn't really do anything, but then this, the one competitive piece mixed in that finally gets a little bit of its spotlight. If I were you and I had this and no plans to play it, I might be selling it now, but the sales rates have actually gone so there that you are seeing its market price go up along to almost where it's at. Then Predaplant Verde Anaconda also going from the low 20s, $22, looking away again. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden it's towards $30. So this entire engine has been spiking to summon Dragoon, you know, the spicy mayo whenever people, I've got this deck, but with Dragoon, people taking it a little more serious now as a boss monster to splash into decks. Speaking of fusion summoning, Shadow Schism has been bought out to the point of like $18. This is a card not to be underestimated. I think it's like its third buyout, but every time it would get bought out, it would kind of fall down. But this time we're seeing people double and triple down into a lot of buyouts, as I'm going to show you later in Market Watch. $18 plus, but tons of sellers right around this point. I do think this is an amazing card. The Dogmatica engine puts it to the next level, and I like to think that this is pretty much a sleeper, but Rise of the Duelist just has so much value spread throughout that as attention goes here or there, it seems like it's another spike and another spike. You're seeing actual fallouts, quote unquote, in prices with how crazy the spread is for this amazing set. Please give us an unlimited printing at some point. So let's talk stimulus checks as I also bring up a vintage card here and how they might affect the market. If they're $600, there will not be the same impact as last time. With $1,200, people are able to actually take care of some bills, do some real work, and then, oh, I have 300 left over here, let's woohoo! With 600, it's not the same, and I don't think as much of the prices are going to be going crazy. And I think when we're looking at stuff like the vintage cards, it only buys you like one instead of play sets at this point too, to like have that left over after you spend on some bills and real world things. So we look at Harpy Queen here. It's actually under market price for its unlim, which the first editions are going on, but there's not many unlims either. $220. Force of the Breaker was in my spotlight for being kind of overlooked, and then you have the conversations of, wow, the Lost Art promo actually put a spotlight on this card rather than making it less desired. People want both versions, or they want to up their Harpy collections as they start getting all those uncensored Harpies, and then they go for the older ones. My Valentine, also a very prominent duelist. So we see this card, it's going up a lot, and it's just been that way for a ton of old school ultimate rares, iconic packs like Dark Revelation, Retro Pack, LOB first, MRD first, all those iconic packs, and then iconic ultimate rares just don't seem safe on the market. But with the stim checks, how will they impact? If they are 2K, it will be huge. Think of just everybody having that extra money on top of paying off their current bills to be able to put towards things. Yeah, that would be freaking insane. But at 600, I don't think it'll be the most. So we have to wait for the dust to settle and see how it turns out to see the true impact of those. Also, Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos up here around the $95 mark. So this was sitting here. It got bought out last night to the point of like only a couple being at 110, and now we see greed to become kind of a good thing. Tons of listers, oh, it's at the $100 mark, I'm gonna make my sale. Then people undercutting each other, and then people kind of listing just in case there's a buyout to where they go, yeah, okay, if you're gonna buy it out again, you're gonna get mine, which actually kind of stops it from getting bought out, funny enough. So you see all these people wanting this price point, putting theirs there, like, yeah, come on, do it again. They're not going to do it again, spoilers, but it was interesting to see a secondary buyout right after a buyout on this card with how few copies were left. Speaking of rebuyouts, Overdrive Teleporter just spiked. We saw some in the mid 30s, and now 48, 48.50 are the lowest. So people re-went in on Overdrive. I personally wouldn't have. I would have taken my opportunity to start selling mine. It gets more tempting every day. It's one of the last cards I bought before I quit vending, period, and stopped buying and selling. Every day it gets more tempting for me to list my copies, but I'm not going to. Yeah, I seriously would have been selling, not buying into this one. USA is rebought out to the point of $8, but you can see a lot of people have high quantities that are listing and competition up there. It is a pretty good card to have for your extra deck depending on the deck, but really $8? You're saying this is like cross sheep effective? I don't necessarily think so in this metagame, but it is of use for sure. Then we have Dragon Maids and Dragon Maid buyouts. Dragon Maid Hospitality getting rebought out to where there's only 2 copies on market, period. Well, 2 sellers, I guess I should say, 4 copies. Kinda wild to see that happen. So you might want to look through your cards you pulled for Mystic Fighters. If you somehow still have them, it jumped to 16, you didn't move. How about a double up on that price? Also, Chamber Dragon Maid, something that I told you guys to get, as we saw Kitchen and Nurse and all the desired ones. Well, if estimated value goes down over there, the rest of the deck, if the demand's really there, will go up, and it seems people love their dragon waifus, and the demand is really there, up towards $32, continuously my eternal nemesis here on Market Watch, till everything is reprinted into the ground. Its pricing is way past what it should be for a deck, but people really want their dragon girls. Also, Dragon Maid Shio is back up towards $7+. And finally, Fallen Albaz. This is actually kind of going down, but after you saw the new fusion and other people scramble, it spiked up. Just a point that people really are going in multiple waves of these buyouts, and it's pretty wild. Now, I want to talk about future product reveals and like my thoughts on them. With Blazing Vortex set description, initially, I kind of was like, stay away, the pot card won't sell. The pot card is way better than I initially gave it credit for. B, the wording, while my head says probably stay away, my gut, which I listen to a lot, is just screaming at me that this is somehow going to turn out to be a banger of a product. And I'm going to discuss why as we actually go through. Maybe I'm doing mental gymnastics. I'm getting myself worked up here. So you get 19 World Premiere cards. Relying on World Premiere cards to make the set usually isn't the greatest of things. And it says new combat crazed World Premiere theme that spices up things with cards that turn the rules of engagement on their head. I'm still not relying on that. Then including a continuous trap that forces duelists to take turns playing with their monster effects. We're seeing that traps are good and are good at being back and forth right now. This could be a very good trap card, but what I'm staring at more so is that you have the new pot card likely to be staple-esque for many, many decks and being worth past its price point as Extravagance was, to where it wasn't even in the top decks of the meta, but could be $90. I think this will probably be in the top decks in the meta, but we'll have to wait and see. And then you also get the latest version of an iconic spell card everyone knows, then a world premiere card that reinvents a classic spell card. How I'm starting to think about this plus the trap is at least 2 generic-ish staple-like cards in this set, and that is a pretty good formula for success, but you're still hoping and waiting on a lot of set description and reading into it. When you gamble, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. My head is still telling me, you know what? I would wait for the announcements and then scramble that moment. There are tons of people in the case selling game who are bottoming out prices. You have Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily really doing cheap prices here and there. You have Yu-Gi-Oh! Black Market, you have Facebook vendors. So many people are in the product game that I don't think you have to scramble right now or anything, but the moment you get announcements that confirm to you that this set would be great to buy, maybe scramble then, or stay away and don't gamble. But I'm hearing words that this is starting to sell very popularly among my friends, and my gut is starting to say, this might be a banger. Now, Ghosts from the past, also, there's a lot of speculation on what the Ghost Rares will be. Will it be Firewall? I actually think not, unless they pull this loophole of the altar arts in the set, and then the Ghost Rare is the classic Firewall art, because they've said that the Ghost Rares, 5 of which appear as Ghost Rares, all others will be in Ultra Rare, but the Ghost Rares will only be in Ghost Rare. So, giving a Firewall an errata, but making it extremely hard to get? I don't think so. They would have to do a loophole like I just said, and I don't think they're necessarily going that way. Like Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, our first reprint of it outside of a movie, but oh, wait, it's only as a Ghost Rare. Yikes! So you're not going to see Blue Eyes Alternative in the Ultra slots. I think the Ghost Rares will be similar, as Blue Eyes Alternative is, to being like Dark Magician Girl, but the Duels Pack Yugi art, and other maybe the duelist packs in Japan ghost rares that we missed, such as Raigeki and Harpy's Feather Duster. Harpy's Feather Duster would be great right now. And finally, Ancient Guardians. I'm gonna tell y'all tripping, trying to get in and speculate off of just pictures and descriptions like this. When we know 80 out of 100 cards in a set, that's one thing. When we know a ton of archetypes in a set and can start to speculate on reprints, that's one thing. So I like both of these products now. Blazing Vortex with my gut, not with my head. And then goes from the past March reprint set that actually has RNG chase cards. Great job noticing that your flagships need help, Konami. But with this, y'all should not be reading into anything except for, and these will include a mix of new cards and older favorites when talking about collector rares. It seems Konami really knows they messed up with collector rare and Genesis Impact and are already on the course to try to fix that when they say older favorites, but I don't know that I have trust that they're going to go for older favorites that you need play sets of so that they actually get bought out and go up in price and create a market for themselves. And with a declining market, how will that progress? We have to wait and see how these archetypes will be, but friendly reminder, and the old sets that were all foil, which this still is not, it's the new layout of 10 ultras, 15 supers, 35 rares. With this new layout, you are only getting about a playset of each card that is ultra per case. Whereas in the old short print ratios, you would have 20 different secrets, 24 secrets per box. So shorting, they would force the shorts to be 3. Now everything is basically short by the new ratio. So if any of these are bangers, yeah, you can bet they will actually be absurd in price along with the collector rares being good for those. We'll have to wait and see how it turns out. And finally, I just wanted to touch on the Prismatic God Boxes one more time from Japan. It's kind of crazy to see some newer, lower listings with higher quantities available to the US market, because this is selling like this for 10,000 yen in Japan, which is like $100. So seeing it available like this with shipping, that's kind of really awesome. But on the American market consistently, I think the lowest listed Prismatic God cards, they're Starlight to us, but Prismatic to them. The Prismatic God card promos, they're going for a lot, and the lowest price they seem to be going for is around the $75 mark, and some are flying at 100. Slifer is the most expensive one if you can get it. Seeing these sell like this, like, you could maybe make a pretty good amount of money going for the extras, such as that slab being 30-ish, like, and then you have the sleeves, oversleeves, very popular over here, and then the packs, you could be going for that ultimate, new style ultimate rare, by the way, which is the first time introducing it to Japan, Dark Magician, Blue Eyes, and Blue Eyes Ultimate. When I say introducing it, I mean those 3 classic cards for the first time are in the new style ultimate rare, and they're pretty pricey over there and here. You could chase after at a pretty good rate at the price that these are on eBay, and then try to sell off the promos, or of course keep them and see if they go up, or just keep the product sealed. I actually do think it's a pretty good buy at this price, and that's no incentive. Not using my TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra, support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. But even though it's 4x its original retail, I don't think Konami's just gonna, I don't think they really have in Japan, just yeet out extra of a special collection like this. But it's so popular and money is nice. We'll have to see what Konami will do, but you leave it to their hands with that. How this is selling is crazy, and the extras are so good that I think it is worth kind of holding. But let me know what you think of dipping your toe in the OCG market or not. I'll stay away and stick to the beast I know, which is the TCG market. Let me know what you think of the upcoming products. Like, does your gut also tell you something about Blazing Vortex, or do you think it's just the pot card and trash? How do you feel about what's coming out in here? The wheels are turning, and I don't know, there's just something there that's sending alarm bells off for me, and I'm like,